him a cabinet job now.
Nog even terug naar het Lagerhuis, waar Cameron zijn plannen verdedigde en nog één keer waarschuwt voor de Brexit.
We are a great country, and whatever choice we make, we will still be great. But I believe the choice is between being an even greater Britain inside a reformed EU or a great leap into the unknown. The challenges facing the West today are genuinely threatening. Putin's aggression in the east, Islamist extremism to the south. In my view, this is no time to divide the West.
Ja, voor de uitzending sprak ik met Nina Schick van de eurokritische denktank Open Europe. Ik vroeg haar eerst hoe belangrijk de steun van Johnson is voor het Brexit-kamp. Is het een gamechanger?
It gives the Out campaign tremendous credibility, and let's not forget that Boris Johnson is indeed the most popular politician in the UK, much more popular even than David Cameron. Also, he lends the cause credibility at a time when it wasn't clear whether there would be a big beast on the outside, and he certainly is a big beast when it comes to British politics. And not only that, as the Mayor of London, he of course has the interests of the City of London at heart as well. And of course, on the Remain side, they're saying that if the UK were to leave, that would have severe implications for the City of London. So that the Mayor of London is coming out and saying, we can stomach Brexit, we can do this, is significant.
Mm-hmm. Why did he decide to support the Out campaign, do you think?
Well, Boris has long been known as a Eurosceptic, and I think that, of course, he also has his view is that the UK can survive outside the EU, and primarily because he wants to seize the opportunities in the rest of the world. He sees the EU as being too slow, too cumbersome, and he wants to open up London and the rest of the UK to the global opportunities that are available. And of course, cynics will also say this has a lot to do with inner Tory party politics. Of course, Boris may want to become the next Prime Minister, and if he is on the winning side on this campaign, David Cameron's career as Prime Minister will be over, and Boris will also have neutralised other potential successors such as George Osborne, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and Theresa May, who's the Home Secretary.
Isn't this also a form of fratricide? After all, Cameron and Johnson are friends, both conservatives.
Well, of course, in a sense, it's interesting because when Cameron was speaking yesterday, when it was already known that Boris would be backing Brexit, although the formal announcement hadn't been made yet, you know, Cameron accused him of not saying, why would you want to share a platform with someone like Nigel Farage and George Galloway, who are also campaigning for Brexit? And of course, Boris took care to commend the Prime Minister for his efforts, and even to say that if Cameron were to lose the referendum, he should still continue as Prime Minister. But again, this has a lot to do with party politics and Boris's own position and his own future and how he sees that within the Conservative Party.
Are all the supporters of the Out campaign on the same page?
Absolutely not. I mean, for 40 years, the question of the UK's relationship with the EU has been an existential question here. And now that the Brexit referendum is finally underway, it unites a very, very broad church of people. On one side, you have people like Boris, who are free marketeers, very liberal, who want to open up the UK to the rest of the world and actually see the EU as a series of institutions that's shackling them back from modernity and the opportunities that are offered by the world. And on the other side, you have people like Nigel Farage, who are very, very protectionist, who want to leave the EU because they want to get control of the borders. So you have a fundamental ideological divide in the Brexit camp between those ultra-liberal free marketeers and those who want to leave for immigration and who are protectionist. So it'll be very, very interesting as the campaign kicks off to see what kind of scrutiny the outside comes under and whether or not they can unite their differences and put on a united front.
What will a Brexit mean for Great Britain, in your opinion?
Well, Open Europe has done some modelling around this question. We were, in fact, one of the first organisations to really look at this in depth. And what we found is that Brexit itself is not the seismic thing that people say it would be on either side. So it wouldn't be devastating in the sense that the UK would become isolated like North Korea overnight, nor would the UK become like Hong Kong and be free trading with the rest of the world. It really depends on a series of things that happen after Brexit. So first of all, what are the conditions of the trade deal that the UK will strike with the rest of the EU, and also what are the domestic policies that are going to be put into place. We think that if the UK is to survive and indeed flourish outside of the EU, it needs to be fairly liberal on things like immigration policy. It's going to have to deregulate further, and there is still it's still not known whether these type of domestic policies would be popular in the UK.
There are analysts who warn that the unraveling of the EU will play into the hands of Putin. What do you think?
Indeed. In fact, that is actually an argument that is being made on the Remain side of the debate here. In fact, I think Sir Malcolm Rifkind, who was the former Foreign Secretary under Margaret Thatcher, said Putin would be dancing in the halls of the Kremlin were the UK to leave the EU. And that's certainly an argument that deserves a bit of thought, because, of course, the risk is that if the UK leaves the EU, the UK and the rest of the EU will spend years squabbling over new arrangements, trying to come to a new trade deal at a time when the EU really has a lot of existential threats at its doorstep. We're talking about the turmoil in the Middle East, the boisterous brand of nationalism put forward by Putin. So if the EU's navel-gazing and too concerned about this trade deal and what it means, the risk is that it loses sight of the bigger questions right at its doorstep.
Nina Schick, thank you very much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.